Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at the masterpiece Sideswipe, G2 Sideswipe, also known as the MP12G, and here he is. And I'm just gonna take his weapon mess off, and I love this toy. I think this is a knockoff. I'm very confident this is a knockoff. You'll see more of that later with some of the quality issues, like the wheels can't spin, or they can spin but they can't roll. These back ones can, but these front ones just don't roll. So that was one of my first indications. Like this gap, like these, they're not lined up. And I know, like, the masterpiece toys, especially these, like, smaller ones, probably weren't, I don't know, whatever. But, still, and then says Lamborghini Cantish or whatever. You know, those should be perfectly spelled on the original one. I think somewhere on here it says Tummy. Yeah, it says Tommy, whatever you want to say, obviously made in China. So I'm very confident this is a knockoff, but it's a really good knockoff. Like, if you really don't want to afford a masterpiece, these knockoffs, at least these old ones that you would just randomly accidentally buy on eBay, are still really good quality. I can't speak for the modern ones, like the modern MP36 ones or the modern MP44 ones. But these ones, these old ones especially of Sideswipe, Ironhide, are really good. I really like this guy, and I've had it for quite a while. So yeah, and so that's enough about that. But I love this alt mode. Props to the person that modeled this toy, because it is beautiful. I know this is probably a little tough because it's black, but I love this deco the most. Of all the decos that this mold has been in, this is the best. Obviously on the bottom you can kind of see some of the stuff, but I love the Lamborghini Countach, and this black with the red windows, the standard silver rims, I think is the best color of all the toys, and probably in general if you were to buy a Countach, in my personal opinion, but you probably won't. But I really like this alt mode. I love it. It does have that little thing right there that can depress when this peg goes in there, and this is just how you can store all the weapons. The sword just has this tab here that goes into that peg like that. This gun just slides in right there, and then there's a little notch thing that the tires clamp over. I'll show more of that when we take them off. So yeah, I really love this car mode. Even if you don't like his robot mode, you cannot deny that this is a lovely and insanely good looking car mode. I really like it. And like the spoiler, really like just everything about this alt mode. So yeah, that's really it for his alt mode. Can't really do anything else except for look amazing. But yeah, let's jump into his transformation, and I really like this transformation. So starts out pretty simple in the front here, and it kind of somewhat what you're used to with Sideswipe. But the legs definitely get odd. Not in a bad way. So I'm gonna first start with the wheels, and because mine are stiff, I've always grabbed them like this. Like, I've grabbed down at the hinge and just put my finger inside of the wheel, and do that. So now I just like to disconnect this like the original toy and sort of leave that. While we're here, I'll just flip this cap down. And that's another thing, is like that has never lined up for me, so that's one thing that probably also distinguishes this toy as a knockoff. So now to the side pieces, you're going to fold those out. We're just going to leave those for now. And now we're going to come back here and just disconnect this. I don't really know how it works. It's just like a series of tabs and like kind of hooks. So I just like to just fiddle with it until it just comes out. And same thing going back. I just like to just fiddle with it and move stuff around until I get it. That's how I do it. And you just move that out of the way. So we're going to work on the legs ultimately first. So going to disconnect them like so. And the spoilers have to separate because they hook into each other. Don't know if you can see that, but they hook into each other like a hook tab. So now fully disconnect them. And now I like to bring this up. It's been forever since I've looked at the instructions. So I might be doing this way out of order from what I'm supposed to, but I'll at least get there. So now I'll bring that down, and this one's loose. This one's really loose. This little panel, like, bring that down, and then this one is super tight. Or not super tight, it's loosened up over the years, but it was really tight when I first had it. But now you bring those down, and now these are going to swing around, and these are going to articulate while we bring this down. So the spoiler has to stay out of the way, and then you have to bring that all the way down, and it kind of clicks. At least it somewhat did. And now you're going to bring this down. Make sure, obviously, this panel's there because it's going to go into that tab. This tab is going to go into that slot, and then this kind of indent is going to go over that thing. So I can't remember which one. They don't go all the way out, so you just kind of have to force it. Like, just flex the plastic just a tiny little bit. And I think it's this one, or it's probably both of them. And so yeah, just do that. I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. And now you bring this up. This won't really tab in, and it just loosely fits into that cutout. And now you bring the bumper up and fits fairly neatly into that molded out section. Doesn't fit completely, but I bet on the an actual masterpiece it will. And then obviously fold your foot out. Now, same thing on this side. Just gonna do it a bit quicker. Like this. And this side definitely is easier to do because that panel is actually stiff and not super loose. And now bring that up, bring the foot down, bring that out. Sorry if that was off screen. And then you just, there's no real like place for these to tab in. They just sort of nestle and just go in, kind of. But so now you just flip this front skirt down like so, and now what you have to do is I'll just fold the arms all the way up like that. So gonna raise this up a little bit so you can see that there's a slot here, a little I don't think this slot is going to go over this little beam back here, and then this tab is going to go up into that groove with that angled face. So you just go like that, and then you push it together like that. It is much more, it is kind of difficult doing it like going back into vehicle mode, but it's not too difficult, especially on mine since I've done it a lot. I've transformed this toy quite a bit. So now, obviously you can see there's a tab right there that is supposed to go into that hole. But once again, it's a knockoff, so that does not happen. But there's a tight enough friction there. Oop. And even if, like you saw, even if that's not like the tiniest bit out, this will not match up. But, that came out of the tab. I mean, the slot there. So, now there's that. And now to the arms. You just bring these up. And then you open up these panels. And then you flip out his hands, like so. And then you swivel it around. And you bring it down. Same thing on this side. Like so. And now we have him in his robot mode. I cannot remember, but I think there's something you can do with the doors. Like you fold them in a certain way. Like like that. I don't really know. But I have always just left them like this. I've always left them like that. It's never benefited me really to have them like that. I think the way you do that makes it so you can have the sword go into his back, but I'll show off why he typically holds the sword. Other than it's awesome. So there he is, and before we go further with him, we'll deal with his weapons. So sword comes off, and there's no tab, it's just smooth, so he can hold it. So have our sword, have our two guns, flip the handle down on this one, and now you can split those, and you can see that slot and that slot, go over these tabs, and then these mesh together from the tabs and those holes. So you can put those in his shoulders, which looks amazing. I love the look of that. It just looks so cool. But I'm going to take these out because they'll have to go on this gun. Because all Masterpiece toys obviously use the very common slot in the palm and tab on the gun or other weapon. But mine, since it's a knockoff once again, he just can't hold the guns. Especially this one, since it's so front heavy. He just doesn't hold it. In both hands, they just don't hold the weapons, which I think really sucks, especially for this one. This gun is super cool. I really like this gun. The second gun I could take or leave, but this gun, I really, really like. And I just wish he could hold it. So he can hold that one, but the tab does nothing. It's the friction of the hand. So what I typically do, or what I have always done, is he holds the sword in his hand, more of a machete, I would say, but he holds the machete, then these all go back together like you're going to put him in robot mode, like this, and now he has a shoulder cannon. And obviously I didn't discover this, it was in the instructions on the back of the box. But that's how I've always done it. That's how I have always done it, because he can't hold his weapons or hold his guns. He can hold this decent, but that's how I've always done it. It is a shame because I really wish I could have the tires on his shoulders. I can if I don't want to store these, and I don't really feel like storing them. So that is just that, and that came unpegged again, but it'll be okay. But so we're going to take our weapons back off again and look through his articulation. So first off, I love his face sculpt. It is amazing. It's one of the biggest things that drew me to this version, is like it's just has so much expression, so much love in it, and it doesn't feel off. Like I don't feel like weird when I look at him. Like it's so expertly sculpted, so expertly done, and fits the character since he's like G2 Sideswipe, that I don't feel weird look like that it's permanently on him. Like typically when you get a toy that has a permanent face on it, like a yelling face or a sad face or something, to me it always looks kind of odd. But this toy, it doesn't. It looks natural, and I really, really love that. So obviously it's on a swivel, and you can look up a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. His arms can go out, and you can count this joint to go in a little bit more, but ultimately you have that far out. Have bicep swivel, you have an elbow, just standard elbow, have a wrist swivel, and then articulated fingers. You do get a waist swivel, and you can work that joint back there as an ab crunch, and it is tight enough because his his upper body isn't very heavy. You can, and we have to peg that back in, but you can do that. You can flip up his front skirt to get forward and back, not too much back. Thigh swivel, knee, And then you get an ankle tilt, not too much, and you can work that transformation hinge as a back. I guess you could use this heel to somewhat get a forward to help stabilize him, but not really. This leg's coming apart, untransforming itself. There. So yeah, other than the hands not holding their weapons, and this gap closing up, and his legs being super floppy, this guy is really good. He does not feel like a knockoff, or at least knockoffs of the time. He does not feel like a knockoff of his time. He feels like a good quality toy. Does he feel like a masterpiece? I can't tell you. Comparing him to the new Masterpiece Bone Crusher and the old MPO1 that I've reviewed, he is not to that quality, especially MPO1, which he would have been closer in relation to. Not complete close, but closer. But this definitely feels like a modern day Chug or Generations plastic. Not bad, but it is not of the original like Cybertron or G1 or even MPO1 plastic, but it is still very nice. So I don't know where you'd find this guy. I just found some eBay listing and jumped on it because I was a dumb kid back then, and I was like, oh, it's a masterpiece that isn't like $100 or like $200. I'm gonna get it. It was like 30 or something, $40. And they stay the same. I would highly recommend getting it if you really don't care about having a masterpiece. Me personally, I'm gonna end up having a masterpiece version of this toy because I love this version so much, and I can get the even better version that can hold his guns and stuff like that. But this toy has a special place in my heart. I really love it. I still consider it my first masterpiece, even though it's technically not. I still really, really love this toy. It's amazing. Even with its tiny little flaws, I really, really like it. Really, really love it. And just the mold in general is that this is when Masterpiece was kind of at its peak with MP10, MP12, all of these toys. I'm not saying the new ones are bad. I'm not saying boycott the new Masterpiece toys. I really like some of the train bots, particularly I think Can. The new Genrai, I absolutely love that. Skids, I would love to own Skids. I have one, but this is like the golden age of Masterpiece. I'm not saying the new stuff is bad, but this, when people think of golden age, they think of this toy, they think of MP10, they think of stuff like that. And there's a good reason for it, because this toy is amazing, and this is a knockoff version. So, yeah, I just really like this toy. I really recommend it, whether it's a knockoff or an authentic one. But overall, I really like this toy. Really like this deco. Best deco ever, me personally. It's just an amazing, amazing, amazing deco. So, that's really all I have to say. So, until next time, see ya.